Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Penguin Beach. My name's Andy. I'm one of the presenters here at the zoo, and this afternoon I'm being joined by our fantastic keepers, Carl at the back there and Laura down the front here, going to be giving our penguins a little bit of food while I tell you all about them. But before I go any further, I just need a nice and loud cheer from everyone here who loves penguins. Good. And they love you too. Now, if you're a penguin lover, you are in absolutely the right place, because Penguin Beach is the largest penguin pool in the whole of England, and with just over 70 individual penguins, we have the largest penguin colony in London town. There's not many penguin colonies in London town, but this is the biggest one. So if you're a penguin lover in London, this is absolutely the place to be. Now, we've got two different species of penguin here at Penguin Beach. Every penguin that you can currently see, except this one, is a Humboldt penguin. So these are the guys with a pink flash across the top of their beaks and a big black sash across their belly. They're native to the coastal regions of Peru and Chile, and at the minute you can see they're quite excited. They're doing something known as porpoising. Now, you've probably seen dolphins doing this on a nature documentary or at the start of a very heartwarming film. They leap out of the water. This is exactly what our penguins are doing, and they tend to do it and they're quite excited. And feeding time is quite an exciting time for a penguin. So these are our Humboldt penguins, and then of course we do have our one other penguin, who is Ricky, our rockhopper penguin. You can see him there, hopping away, happy as Larry. Now, he's a crested penguin and he is native to the Falkland Islands. Now, those are the two species of penguin we have here at Penguin Beach, but out in the wild there are actually 18 different species of penguin, and they come in all sorts of different shapes and sizes. So the biggest penguins out in the wild, they are the emperor penguins. And they stand at about 4 feet tall, so they're about that tall. So you can quite easily put your arm around one and give it a cuddle. And the very smallest penguin out in the wild is only 1 foot tall. It's about that big, and it's called the fairy penguin. Ah, a little sweet little thing that lives out in Australia. Now, there's quite a few myths, quite a few misconceptions surrounding penguins that I'm going to try and dispel for you. And the first one of these is that all penguins live in very, very snowy, very, very icy places. Now, you do get penguins in very, very snowy, very, very icy places, but you do also get penguins in very, very warm places as well. Remember, these guys are native to the coastal regions of Peru and Chile. You get black-footed penguins on the beaches of South Africa. And remember, our tiny little fairy penguins live out in Australia. Now, the only thing to remember with penguins and where they live is they all live in the southern hemisphere. So you've got the equator running around the world. All wild penguins live below that. So you'll never see a penguin and a polar bear together out in the wild. Now, however big you are as a penguin, and wherever you are from as a penguin, you'll all be eating the same food. Now, after 3, again, nice and loudly, can you shout out what penguins like to eat? 1, 2, 3. Fish, you are absolutely right, spot on answer. They love to eat fish. Fish makes up about 80% of a penguin's diet. The other 20% is made up of little crabs, little crustaceans, something called krill, which is like a very, very small shrimp. But the majority of their diet is made up of fish. And each one of these guys, they'll get through about 30 fish each every single day. There's quite a lot of them up here now, so I'll try not to stand on any of them. They'll get through about 30 fish each every single day, which is pretty incredible when you consider how small their bellies are and the fact they can't manufacture mushy peas or anything like that to make the fish nice. They have to troll through it completely raw, but fortunately for our penguins, they absolutely adore it. Now, if you look towards the front end of Penguin Beach, you'll see Laura chucking a fish down into the water. Now, there's actually a very, very important reason for this. Well, there's two very important reasons for this. One of them is to try and stop the girls getting on the fish, but the other one is to try and encourage some natural diving behaviour in our penguins. Obviously, out in the wild, they've got to dive down into the water to catch their fish, so we try and encourage this in our penguins down the front there. And you'll see penguins are actually incredible divers. All species of penguin can dive down as far as 100 metres, but our largest penguins, the emperor penguins, remember, they can dive down as far as 500 metres, or half a kilometre. So they can spend a long, long time in the water, and they've got all sorts of cool adaptations that help them survive for a long, long time in the water. Now, the first one of these is their feathers, being beautifully demonstrated by Pudlea. You'll see that all our penguins are covered in feathers. This is because they are a species of bird. Now, this surprises quite a lot of people because they can't fly, but they are a type of bird, so they are covered in feathers. Incidentally, all these other birds that are floating around Penguin Beach, we've got our gulls, We've got a few herons as well. They're nothing to do with Penguin Beach. They're nothing to do with ZSL London Zoo. They're just here about this time of day because they know there's a very good chance they'll probably get some free food. But there's also a very, very good chance that some of you will get pooed on at some point during the talk. Now, if this happens, allow me to be the first to offer my commiserations, but also my congratulations, because this will entitle you to a very exclusive I got hit by poo at London Zoo sticker that you can get from me after the talk. We don't just give them out to anyone, you will have to prove that you have been pooed on, obviously, but if you do get hit, it's not the end of the world. You do get something out of it. But anyway, back to our penguins. So they got feathers. They have two different layers of feathers. They have an inner layer, which is like a nice warm downy fluff layer that's like a fleece, and they have an outer layer, which is a very, very tightly interlocked layer that stops the water getting in, keeps them nice and waterproof, so they can spend a long, long time in the water, staying nice and warm and staying nice and dry. But they also stay nice and safe as well. If you look at our penguins that we have here at Penguin Beach, you'll see they've all got black backs and they all got white bellies. If you look at any penguin species in the wild, you'll see all of them have black backs and they've all got white bellies. Now this is actually a very, very important type of camouflage known as counter shading. I appreciate that it doesn't look like it works. You can see our penguins very, very easily. But if you imagine yourselves out in the wild, if you imagine you're a hungry killer whale and you're swimming through the sea and you're looking for a delicious penguin to eat and you look down at penguins swimming underneath you, you're going to look down at this black back. Now that's going to blend in perfectly with the deep, dark, murky depths of the ocean. Similarly, if you are a hungry leopard seal and you're swimming through the sea looking for a delicious penguin to eat and you look up at penguins swimming above you, you're going to look up at these bright white bellies and that's going to blend in perfectly with the surface of the water. So the penguin becomes effectively invisible as it's swimming through the sea. So their feathers are incredibly important. Their wings are also very, very important. Now their wings are slightly different to our gull's wings. These wings are slightly thicker, slightly heavier, slightly more sturdy, so they use them much more like flippers. And you can see them cruising through the water, you can see just how agile they are and how quickly they can move. Penguins can actually swim at speeds of up to 15 miles an hour, which I appreciate doesn't sound very impressive. If you're in a car travelling at 15 miles an hour, you'd assume it was broken. But if you consider that a penguin could do a length of an Olympic swimming pool in just over 7 seconds, compare that to the human record of just over 21 seconds, and you see just how quickly they can move through the water, how well adapted they are to use these wings as flippers to propel themselves through the sea. So they got their feathers and they have their wings. Now they also have their beaks. Now, it is very tempting, and I know it's very tempting, to try and reach over and give one of our penguins a little bit of a stroke. I recommend that you don't, because you'll probably lose one, if not more, of your fingers. These beaks are incredibly sharp. If you imagine them swimming through the sea trying to catch fish, that's a very, very difficult thing to do if you've got a lot of equipment. It's even harder if you've only got your face to do it with. So this beak is incredibly sharp. It's like a spear on the penguin's face. They'll spear straight through the fish, and then inside their mouth there is a tongue covered in spikes. That'll come out, grab onto the fish and haul it on down for a nice tasty treat. So these are some features that all penguin species share out in the wild. I'm going to introduce you a little bit more closely to our penguin species that we have here at the beach. As I said, every penguin that you can currently see, except I've lost where Ricky's gone now. I think he's just in the water down there. So every penguin that you can see at the minute is a Humboldt penguin. Now, as I said, they live in the coastal regions of Peru and Chile. They live in groups of about 30 to 40 out in the wild, and they live in burrows. Now, if you look towards the back of Penguin Beach, you'll see all these tubes, all these pipes cut into the rock there. Those are our penguins' burrows that lead down into their nests. And when we get into breeding season, they'll start pairing off and going on down there to breed. Now, if you look at our penguins' bellies, our Humboldt penguin bellies, you'll see that they all have black dots on their bellies. Now, if you look even more closely, you'll see they've all got different black dots on their bellies. It is exactly the same as our fingerprints. Every one of us has a different fingerprint. Every Humboldt penguin has different black dots on their bellies. This is quite useful for them to be able to tell each other apart out in the wild. It's quite handy as well for our keepers to be able to tell them apart. So those are Humboldt penguins. Somewhere, he's gone completely from my eye line, but is Ricky, our rockhopper penguin. He was over on the beach over there, but I think he might be in the water now. But if you spot him, you're looking out for a penguin with some bright yellow head feathers on the top of his head. As I said, he is a rockhopper penguin. He is a crested penguin, which is why he has these... Oh, there he is. He's just down here. This is why he's got these yellow head feathers on the top of his head. Now, the crested penguins, they use these to communicate with each other. So they'll wave them around, and they'll tell each other if they're happy, or if they're sad, or even if they're flirty. So if Ricky was to look at you, shake his head from side to side like that, it'll make a kind of halo of light going across the top of his head. And if he does that, he's flirting with you. So you could leave Penguin Beach with an extra special friend in Ricky, our rockhopper penguin. Don't worry though, if he doesn't look at you and start waving his head around, you can still leave with him as your friend, because he's on Facebook. So do look him up, add him as a friend on Facebook. Very cool to have a penguin as a friend on Facebook. You can even adopt Ricky, our rockhopper penguin, wherever he's gone. There he is, down in the water. You can even adopt Ricky, our rockhopper penguin. Now, unfortunately, this doesn't mean that you can take Ricky home with you. It'd be cool if you could, but you can't. But if you go up to the gift shop or onto the website, www.zsl.org, you can pick up an adoption pack. Now, the money that you pay for this pack will go straight into the conservation work that we do with penguins out in the wild. These guys are a threatened species. There he is, just over there, shaking his head around. These guys are a threatened species. Global warming means that a lot of fish species are dying out, so penguins have much less to eat out in the wild. There is also a lot of overfishing of the areas where they live, meaning that it's harder for the penguins to find food as well. But we are a conservation charity. We do conservation work in over 50 countries around the world. One of our big projects is working with penguins out in Antarctica. And I would just ask everyone to very briefly put their hand in the air. Don't worry, I'm not going to ask you to do anything for weird. I'm not going to ask you any questions. All I'm going to ask you to do is give yourselves a huge pat on the back. Because just by coming to the zoo, you are helping massively with this conservation work. All the ticket money that you pay to get in the zoo gets pumped into our conservation projects that we do around the world. So by visiting our fantastic penguins, you help massively help them out in the wild. So thank you to everyone on behalf of the zoo, and of course our fantastic penguins, for helping out with our incredibly important conservation work. Now, I'm going to head on over to base camp, so if anyone's got any questions about our penguins here at the beach, or about penguins out in the wild in general, do feel free to come on over and ask. Apart from that, though, thank you very much for listening, and do enjoy the rest of your day here at ZSL London Zoo. Thank you.